The hallway echoed with the sound of his hurried footsteps, heavy, desperate, trembling with fear. In his arms, she hung limp, her blue dress trailing behind like a fading shadow. Her lips were pale, her pulse barely there. "Hold on, Anna, please, hold on," Ethan whispered, his voice breaking as tears burned his eyes. The hospital doors flew open. Nurses gasped. A doctor shouted for a stretcher. But none of them knew, what they were about to discover would change everything. Welcome to Timeless Voices, where every heartbeat tells a story, stories that touch the soul and remind us what it means to love, to lose, and to live again. It was supposed to be a perfect evening. Ethan and Anna had been together for 5 years. That night, they were celebrating the anniversary of the day they first met. The restaurant was softly lit, the sound of a piano filling the air, and Anna looked breathtaking in her royal blue dress. She laughed when he fumbled with the champagne cork. "You still can't open one without nearly injuring someone, can you?" He smiled nervously. "Maybe I like to live dangerously." But then, mid-laughter, she stopped. Her hand trembled, her face turned pale, and the glass slipped from her fingers, shattering on the floor. "Anna," Ethan stood, his heart pounding. "Hey, look at me, Anna." Within seconds, she collapsed. The restaurant froze. Someone screamed for help. Ethan scooped her into his arms, shouting for someone to call an ambulance. But the hospital was only a few minutes away, and waiting wasn't an option. He ran through the night, his chest on fire with panic and fear. When he burst into the emergency ward, nurses rushed forward. "She's not breathing properly," one said, checking her vitals. The doctor, a middle-aged woman with tired eyes but sharp focus, ordered, "Get her to trauma room 2. Now." Ethan tried to follow, but a nurse stopped him. "Sir, you can't go in there," he shouted. "She's my fiancée." But they pushed him back gently. He stood in the hallway, his mind replaying every memory, her laughter, her warmth, her teasing smile. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, the doctor emerged. Her expression was unreadable. "Mr. Reed," she asked softly. He nodded. "She's stable for now, but we need to talk." Ethan followed her into a small consultation room. The doctor hesitated. Did Anna ever mention a previous illness? Or any history of fainting, heart issues, or stress? He shook his head. "No, she's always been healthy. She runs every morning. She eats right." "What happened to her?" The doctor looked at the file, then at him. "It appears she's been hiding something. Her condition, it's rare. And dangerous." Ethan's throat tightened. "What do you mean?" The doctor sighed. "She's been suffering from a congenital heart defect since childhood, a condition that was never fully treated. From the test results, it seems she knew about it." He froze. "She knew?" The doctor nodded. "I'm afraid so. She's been taking medication to manage it, but not enough." The stress tonight triggered a collapse. Ethan's world tilted. Anna, his Anna, who never complained, who smiled through everything, she had known she was dying. He sat beside her hospital bed later that night. Machines hummed softly. She looked peaceful, too peaceful, as if she were sleeping through a storm. He held her hand gently. "Why didn't you tell me?" he whispered. Her eyelids fluttered. "Ethan, I'm here," he said, choking back tears. "I thought I lost you." A faint smile curved her lips. "I'm sorry. I didn't want you to worry." "Worry?" He almost laughed through the tears. "Anna, you almost died." She looked away, her eyes glistening. "I didn't want my illness to define our love. I wanted to live fully, even if it meant a shorter life." Ethan's heart broke all over again. "I would have loved you no matter what. You should have trusted me with the truth." She reached for his face weakly. "You already gave me more love than I ever thought I'd have. That's what kept me going." He kissed her hand. "You're not leaving me. Not now. We'll fight this together." But she shook her head faintly. "The doctor told me there isn't much time left." Ethan stood abruptly. "No, there has to be something." Surgery. Treatment. Anything. The doctor entered quietly. Mr. Reed, I'm sorry. Her condition is advanced. Surgery would be too risky. We can only keep her comfortable. He looked at the doctor, disbelief and anger burning in his eyes. There has to be another way. The doctor's voice softened. I wish there was. Days passed. Ethan barely left the hospital. Every morning he'd bring flowers. Every night he'd tell her stories, pretending everything was fine. They talked about dreams, the house they'd wanted to buy, the children they'd planned to have, the vacations they never took. And then, one morning, Anna asked, "Can you do something for me?" "Anything. Take me outside. Just for a little while. I want to feel the sun." He carried her out to the hospital garden, the same way he had carried her in, but this time, the world seemed to move slower. The sunlight touched her face, and she smiled weakly. "Do you remember our first date?" She whispered. "How could I forget? You spilled coffee on my shirt." She laughed softly. "And you still asked me out again." "I knew from that day," he said, "you were the one." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "Promise me something, Ethan. Anything. When I'm gone, don't stop living. Don't stop loving. Find happiness again." He gripped her tighter. "Don't say that. You're not going anywhere." But she only smiled faintly, her eyes glimmering with peace. Moments later, the beeping of the portable monitor grew slower. "Anna," he whispered. "Anna, stay with me, please." The nurse rushed forward, checking her pulse. But the look on her face said everything. Ethan felt the world collapse. His arms tightened around her as if he could pull her back to life, but she was gone, the girl in the blue dress who had loved him beyond fear, beyond time. A week later, the doctor called Ethan back to the hospital. "There's something I need to tell you," she said quietly. He nodded numbly. The doctor handed him an envelope. "Anna left this with us in case she didn't make it." Ethan opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a handwritten letter. "My dearest Ethan, if you're reading this, I guess I couldn't keep my promise to stay. But I need you to know something. I didn't tell you about my illness not because I didn't trust you, but because I wanted our love to be about life, not death. Every day with you felt like a gift I didn't deserve. You made me laugh when I wanted to cry. You made me feel beautiful when I felt broken. You gave me more happiness in 5 years than most people find in a lifetime. Please don't let my story end with sorrow. Let it remind you to live, to love, to forgive. Find someone who makes your heart beat again. That's all I ever wanted for you. With all my love, forever. Anna." Tears blurred his vision as he clutched the letter to his chest. The doctor whispered, "She wanted you to have hope." For the first time since she died, Ethan looked up at the morning light streaming through the window. It was the same golden warmth she had wanted to feel one last time. And in that moment, he understood, love doesn't end when a heartbeat does. It lives on, quietly, in the spaces between loss and memory. Sometimes the people who love us the most choose silence, not because they don't trust us, but because they want to protect us from pain. Anna's story reminds us that life is fragile, unpredictable, but profoundly beautiful when we choose to live it with love and courage. Cherish every heartbeat, every smile, every moment, because one day, it might be the memory that keeps someone else alive inside. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And for more emotional and unforgettable stories that echo through time, subscribe to Timeless Voices, where every story speaks to the soul.